Everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Gift and you're welcome to Gift and Couture. So in today's story I want to show you how I made this beautiful top piece that you're seeing on your screen. I have recorded the full detail, both the upper part and lower part. So if this is your first time of coming across my channel, please do want to like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. Thank you. Let's get started. In order to avoid wasting of fabric, you're going to divide your thigh into two. With that, you'll be able to control your fabric. So divide your thigh into two. For me, my thigh is 25 divided by 2, and you have 12.5. So from there, go ahead and measure the length of your trouser. For me, I want it to be 41 plus extra 1 inches, 1.5 for the hemming allowance, making 43. So I'll go ahead and mark it. The next thing is to go ahead and minus your band. For me, I'm using 1.5, so I'm going to minus it from where I marked the chalk. So away from that 1.5, I'll mark 8 inches downward, which is the hip line. And to get your crotch, you're going to divide your hip into 3. Whatever you have, you mark it there. For me, 38 divided by 3, I have 12.5. So from there, I'll go ahead and mark my knee measurement and the length trouser. So on the side, you are going to go ahead and minus 1 inch and connect it just like this. You are removing the dart. So on that waistline, you are going to divide your waist into 4. Divide your waist into 4. All right, and then go ahead and add 1.5 to it. So that 1.5 you cover for both the sewing, the side, and the inseam. When you mark the hip measurement, divide your hip into 4 and then mark it just like the way you are seeing it. So where you mark your crotch length, divide your thigh measurement into 2 and then mark it. Then after you are done, go ahead and connect it just like the way you are seeing on your screen. So now the same measurement you have on your crotch, take it downward, and when you are done, divide the same measurement into 2. This means that you are dividing your trouser into 2 to get your measurement. Do it all the way down. So on your after you are done, go ahead and connect it just like this. On your knee measurement, on your knee length, go ahead and divide your knee circumference into 4. Divide it into 4 just like this, and place it on this side and place it on the other side. So when you are done, connect it to your crotch length and the same thing as well to the other side. The same measurement you have on your knee, take it downward. This depends on the style. So for this style, it's not that fitted on the ankle length. So when you are done, go ahead and connect it. So after you are done, remember I added 1.5 for the hemming allowance. I went ahead to fold it. You have to do this so that when you're sewing your trouser, when it's time for you to fold your trouser, you'll be able to get the actual length and it will be able to fit in well. So go ahead and notch it on this side and also notch it on the other side. When you are done, let's go ahead and cut the back. So on the crotch length, you are going to increase it by 3 to 3.5 inches. Go ahead and mark it just like this. So I went ahead to mark the 3 inches. And on the hip line, you are going to, before then I went up to the waistline. For the waist, you are going to come down by half an inch. That's the front. And then for the back, you are going to go up by 1.2 or 1.5. So this will allow your trouser to sit properly well. All right, so I'll go ahead and mark 1.2. This ranges from 1 inches to 1.5. All right, so depending on how your butt is. So now after connecting it slantly like this, you are going to extend that length, and on the hip line, remember we've already added 1.5. That 1.5, just connect it just like that. There's no need of adding extra measurement on the waistline. So on the hip line, you are going to add 2 inches and then go ahead and connect it from your crotch length to your waistline. If you've gotten to this point, let's go ahead and connect it like this. So you can see how it's aligned with the front waistline. You can see there is no any additional measurement to the back, just connect it. So from there, you are going to go downward from the crotch length and add 2 inches. These 2 inches you cover for both the sewing, the side sewing, the inseam. I hope you get it. So when you are done, next thing is to go to the waist. Now it depends on you. I'm going to go ahead and add that on the back. So I'm adding 1 inch. Remember, remove 1 inch from the front, so I'm adding it to the back. So now after put your dart, you are going to mark that 1 inch like that, and then divide your bust span into two, mark half that you are going to sew away, and then go ahead and put the 1 inch just like that. So where I notch is where you are going to sew the 1 inch dart. So when you are done, go ahead and cut out your trouser. So on the side of the trouser, there is this straight gathers that they use. So I went ahead to cut it, and the width is 6 inches, and the length of it is 85 times 2. So after that, next thing is to go ahead and sew your trouser. You're going to sew from the center like that on the back, and on the dart you're going to sew like 6 inches downward. So I've also gone ahead to draw the gathers on this just like this. Go ahead and do the same thing. Make sure you take your time to draw the gathers. I've gone ahead to sew the edges. You can either weave it or sew it. So now is to go ahead and place the gathers on the side of the trouser just like this. So remember where I'm placing this. This is the front trouser, all right? So I've gone ahead to sew it on it just like this. Next thing is to go ahead and place the back and then start sewing. Remember, I've already sewn the dart, so I'll go ahead and start sewing the back on it just like this, and also sew the inseam. So this is the outcome of the trouser. I've gone ahead to sew the inseam, to iron it rather, and now is to fold the hemming line. Please always make sure you cut off your thread when you are sewing. Fold your hemming line like this. So after you are done folding, next thing is to go ahead and cut the band. All right, so for the band, the width of the band is 4 inches, and the length, remember my waist is 32 plus like 2 inches. I like cutting it excess. So the first thing I did is I put paper stay, and after that I went ahead to iron it on it. So the first thing you are going to fold like half an inch, and then go ahead and fold the 1.5. Then the extra half an inch is what you are going to sew. So I've already done videos on how to fold this band. So after I was done, I went ahead to fix the zip, and this is the outcome. You can see how the trouser is. Next thing is to go ahead and cut the top. Please make sure you subscribe, please, I'm begging you. So let's go. Now the next thing I did was to just fold the fabric into two. I didn't want the stress of spreading it, so I've already gone ahead to divide my bust measurement into 4, and I also added extra 2 inches. So this is what I got. Next thing is to go ahead and divide my shoulder into 2, and where I marked the shoulder measurement, I marked 1.5 to get the shoulder slant. So just like the way I usually draft my pattern, I'll go up by half an inch. That half an inch is going to be for the sewing allowance. And how to get your armhole contour, you are going to divide your bust into 6 and add 1.5 to it. So from there, go ahead and mark your bust point, your half length, and your hip length. Please guys, if you are here to subscribe to my channel, please, I'm begging you, help me to like, subscribe, comment, drop a lovely comment in the comment section, please. All right, so the next measurement I did was to go ahead and mark my half length, which is 17.5. remember the half length of the front is different from the back one. So for my back half length is 15.5. anyways, I'm still going to show you how to do it. So where you mark your 7.5, which is your cross length, already you're going to mark your divide your bust into 4 and mark it on it. And then go ahead and add your seam allowance, be it 1 inch or 1.5. For me, I use 1.5. Then on that across chest, you're going to divide your across chest measurement plus the seam allowance, which is half an inch, and then mark it on it. Then from that across chest measurement, the distance to your bust, divide it into 4 and then mark it just like this. To get your armhole contour, from your shoulder to your across chest, divide it into 2. On the midpoint, go in by 0.5 and then connect it just like what you're seeing on the screen. This works for every measurement. All right, so let's go to the waist measurement. Before then, let's go ahead and cut out the armhole. So on the waist measurement, you're going to divide your waist into 4 and then mark it. So from there, go ahead and add your seam allowance on the waistline. Go down by 8 inches, which is going to be your hip line, and then divide your hip measurement and mark it. Then go ahead and add your seam allowance. Now for the top length, I use 27. The reason I use that 27 for the top length is because I want to give it that slanty effect, because sometimes I would like to fly it out. So on the bust length, you are going to come down by 2 inches, which is going to use for your bust dart. So from there, go ahead and divide your bust span into two, because that's where you'll be able to know where the dart will stop. So I'll go ahead and connect it to that point. Now the distance between my bust dart to that side bust is 6.5. all right. So next thing is to go ahead and fold the dart like this. You're going to fold it downward, fold it like so that you'll be able to cut it. So when you're done cutting it out, you're going to go ahead and notch the side dart. Make sure you notch it. All right. So for this, now next thing is to go ahead and cut the back. For the back, I've gone ahead to add like 2 inches for the zipper line, because I'm still going to remove excess like that from that 2 inches. So don't worry, I'm still going to show you. So for the zipper line, you are going to go ahead. You can see this is how you are going to sew your dart, but do not fold it. Now I'll show you how to remove the dart from the down part. All right, so last 2 inches, you are going to remove it from the back. All right, so let's go ahead. So for me, the back from my nap to waist is 15.5. So remember I said it that the front is different from the back, they have length. So on where you mark the 15.5, you're going to go in by 0.7 and then connect it downward. So from that 15.5, go up by 0.7 and then 0.6 and connect it. So from there, do the same thing downward. You're going to mark 6 inches. With this method, you are removing that. This will prevent the zip from bulging. All right. So when you are done, go ahead and cut it out. So like I said, remember my half length is 17.5 and my back nap to waist, remember, is 15.5. So the difference between that two measurement is what I use for the side dart. So after that, I went ahead to add 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So now next thing is to go ahead and notch that 15.5 where I measure, and then go ahead and fold my zipper allowance, which is 1 inch. Remember, this has nothing to do with the seam allowance. All right, make sure you add extra inches allowance for the back. So next thing is to go ahead and divide my shoulder back into two. The shoulder back measurement is different from the shoulder front measurement, and where you mark your across back, across chest, you're still going to use the same measurement. And remember, your across back measurement is different from your across chest measurement, so you can increase this by 0.7 all the way down. Okay, now let's go ahead and cut it out. So when you are done cutting it out, it should look like this. So on the side bust, you are going to fold this side bust so that you'll be able to cut it, and when you are sewing it, you'll be able to have the same side measurement. I don't know if you are like when you are sewing it to be able to align. So you are going to fold this dart like this and then go ahead and cut it. So when you are done cutting, it should look like this. So you can see now you can go ahead and cut out the 2 inches. Remember I told you, cut it out, and then this has nothing to affect your back measurement. You can see the 2 inches now. That means the front is longer than the back by 2 inches, and that 2 inches is because of the side bust, remember. So in case you want to put that on your back, you can go ahead, divide your bust span into two, where we mark the 15.5 and sew half inches all the way, half inches on this side, half inches on that side, and the length of your dart should be like 6 inches downward, 6 inches upward. All right, so doing this, I went ahead to cross check my measurement, and this has nothing to affect with my measurement. So now I've gone ahead to sew the zipper allowance, and to get the neckline, I'll go ahead and place it on the right side. So with this, you'll be able to know where the slanty effect is, how the style is. So from the shoulder, I'll go down by 3 inches. I went down by 3 inches. From the side, you see that it's not really down. All right, so from there, I'll go from the center of the front, I'll go by 2.5. Like from the middle of the front, I'll go in by 2.5 and then go ahead and slant it just like this. On the center, I use 3 inches, and next thing is to go ahead and connect it together. This what I'm cutting both front and the back together. So I went ahead to cut it out just like this. And when you are done, when you are doing this, make sure you align the fabric together. So next thing is to go ahead and sew the side dart. So you're going to fold that. Remember, I notched 2 inches. You're going to fold it just like this. Let's assume the length of the dart is 6.5. So instead of saying that 6.5, you're going to sew 5.5. That is standardized. Make sure you sew 5.5. Let's assume your own is 7 inches. You are going to sew 6 inches. If your own is 5 inches, you're going to sew 4 inches. All right. So when you are done sewing, it should look like this. So I've gone ahead to sew it, and when you're ironing, you're going to iron it down. You can see how this place is kind of puffy. All right, so I went ahead to measure 9 inches from the side. Remember, I said the reason I made the top to be a bit longer is for me to get that slanty effect, and this was what I did. I slanted it. This thing is optional. All right, you can go ahead and do it or just follow the normal process. So after I was done, I went ahead to sew it. All right, okay, so from there, next thing is to go ahead. I went ahead to cut facing for each of them. I opened the zipper that I joined, I loosen it, and then go ahead to cut facing for each of them. Remember, when you are cutting the facing, it's not going to be the same neckline. All right, so after that, I went ahead to sew the neckline and then top stitch it. So after I was done top stitching, I went ahead to iron it just like this, and that was it. Next thing is to go ahead and join the shoulder. Now after join the shoulder, remember the facing, you are going to sew facing to facing. Remember, I added half an inch. Just like we are going to sew half an inch here on the fabric, and when you are done, go ahead and sew the seam allowance. So when you are done, it should look like this. I've gone ahead to sew the folded down part just like that. So you can decide to put lining. For me, I didn't want to put lining, and that was it. The next thing I did was to go ahead and measure the armhole. So for this side that I cut out, what I have here is 6 inches. All right, like, okay, 6.5. I went ahead to measure the other one, and what I got there is 9 inches for the armhole. So let's go ahead and cut the sleeves. So I've gone ahead to fold the break into 2. All right, so the length of the sleeve, I'm using 27 because I'm going to use 1 inch for the half-inch elastic folding. So next thing is to go ahead and cut it out, and after I was done cutting, I marked 4 inches. That 4 inches is where my bicep is. So on that bicep, you are going to divide your bicep measurement into 2 and add your seam allowance, which is 1. So from there, you are going to go ahead and divide the distance from your bicep to 2 just like that. And when you are done, where you mark that measurement, go ahead and divide your same thing, extend it, and from there go ahead and connect your armhole just like this. Connect it, and when you are done, go ahead and cut it. So let's go ahead and cross check our measurement. Now remember, my armhole is 9, and that's exactly what I got. All right, so from there I went ahead to measure I measured my elbow length, which is 13 inches, and then divided my elbow measurement into 2. Remember, for this sleeve, it's not really that firm. You can add extra 1 inch to your measurement. All right, and then marked it. So I realized that where the fullness of the flare of the balloon starts from is below my elbow, so I use 16 inches instead. So from there, the same measurement I have on my elbow, I marked it and then added seam allowance. So from there, I went ahead to, now the fullness of what I use for the down part is 11 inches. Alright, so from, I'll go ahead and connect it to where I marked the 16 inches. So just like that, we are done cutting the sleeves. Alright, so what I have there is 11 inches. Alright, so next thing is to go ahead and cut it. So after I was done cutting, I went ahead to remove one sleeve. So before then, I went ahead to cut this side out so that this will have that flare effect. So from there, I went ahead to pick one of the sleeves and then mark 6 inches. Remember what we measured from the armhole, especially the side where I cut out. Alright, so the half side I got 6 inches. Alright, so go ahead and measure it where the 6 inches stopped. Yours can be 7 inches or 8 inches depending on how big you are. Go ahead and cut it out like this, and when you are done, go ahead and cut facing on it. Anyways, I'm still going to show you. Go ahead and cut facing on it because this facing will help you be able to turn it, and the fabric, the sleeves will look neat. So when you are done, go ahead and cut this facing out like this, and then go ahead and place it on it. Please, if you watched this video to this point and you've not subscribed, please, I'm begging you, support me by subscribing, like, share, comment. So yeah, I've gone ahead to put the elastic. I can't tell you the length of the elastic because it depends on how fat you are. You'll be the one to determine it. And I've gone ahead to sew the facing as well. Next thing is to go ahead and fix the sleeves. So for the facing, you are going to use the facing of the sleeves to turn in like this. Alright, this will give you a neat finishing, and after I was done, this is the outcome. Alright, so thank you for watching, and this is the outcome of this tutorial. Thank you. Please make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, drop a comment in the comment section, please. Thank you. Bye.